earlier in the year on our February hype list, The Running Man. Not a remake, not a sequel. I wouldn't call it a remake because it's just another adaptation of a book. So I don't think that counts as like remake. It wasn't an original thing to begin with. Based on one of King's novels from back in the day. Obviously, there's the campy, fun Schwarzenegger movie from like '87. I'm not going to hold that up as like peak pinnacle cinema or anything. But this is just another crack at the book, and I have things to say about that. But I wanted to touch base with you first, see if you've read the book, seen the movie, or remember the movie from back in the day.
I mean, how did you forget the movie? I think I watched it again just a few years ago. I mean, it has Jesse the Body Ventura in it, Arnold Schwarzenegger.
Freedom.
Yeah. Brought him out of retirement as a hunter.
I don't need to wear this crap.
Yeah.
It's good stuff. Yeah, that's what I mean, man. That 87 one was quintessential, like Schwarzenegger 80s action comedy kind of thing. It had a very Arnold tone. This plays it a lot closer to the book. This Glenn Powell. Let's start with that. Right? It's Glenn Powell in the lead. He's playing Ben Richards. We got Josh Brolin as Dan Killian in a role much closer to Killian in the book. In the Schwarzenegger movie, they turn Killian into the game show host. He's Bobby T in the old versions. They kind of condensed those roles. And Glenn Powell's Ben Richards elects to go on Running Man because he needs money to cure his sick daughter from like the flu in post-apocalyptic dystopian. Probably not post-apocalyptic, probably just dystopian.
It's more dystopian than post-apocalyptic.
Yeah. They don't mention any like nuclear fallout or anything like that. Yeah. So he signs up and gets himself on the show, which of course is different than the book, different than the Schwarzenegger movie, where he's already in a political prison in the beginning of that movie. Like, no, this is how it was in the book. He elects to go on the show, and then the game unfolds.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. Let's just talk to. Let me get your first take. What did you think? Was it worth the wait?
I thought the movie was pretty fun to watch. I think Glenn Powell is the Nets it man. I mean, he's had that role for a little bit.
I think he's on his way still.
He has that look for him. And he almost passed up on Top Gun that kind of launched him. And he almost passed up on it because he actually auditioned for Rooster and he didn't get it. Yeah. And he was trying to look at what his other options were because he was a new up and comer. And then they offered him the role he got, and Tom Cruise talked to him and told him, you need to come on this movie. I really want you here. And so he listened to Tom Cruise, and the rest is history.
Probably a solid move on his part. I don't know that Running Man's going to do him any favors though, because I wasn't sold on him. He looked the part, played the part. Something about it, maybe it was direction, dialogue. I don't know. I didn't know which character I was getting from scene to scene in this with him. Like they try to play up the family man, the blue collar working class hero thing, saved his guy in the mines or on the oil platform, whatever the hell was going on with that. That flashback where he caught the guy, then he catches the guy in the tryouts. And then in like the next scene, he's the hyper angry freedom fighter, even though he spent a bunch of the movie talking about that.
He never said he was a freedom fighter. He was just angry.
Yeah, dude. They get to the end and he's definitely down for the cause and the resistance, and I'm going to burn the whole thing down. And it was stated. He said that near the end, especially after he picked up.
Yeah, near the end. That wasn't what that isn't what he was. He started from. To judge him on the whole thing based on that, he was just angry.
It was just whiplash, dude, for him. But that's just that one guy, that one character. I'm confused by this movie. Right? It's beat for beat as close to the book as I think you could get it, right? The setup's the same. How he gets into the game is the same. The three various people that kind of help him along the way. You get the two brothers that help him at one point. You got Michael Cera shows up at one point, and then you get the girl at the end who he carjacks. All that's straight out of the book. Like those are like literally like the 25, 50, 75% meetups in the book that carry him through. Even some of the action set pieces, like the explosion in the basement early on, straight out of the book. They got all that stuff. The 30-day count, also straight out of the book. And somehow, some way, I didn't like any of it. I don't know why. None of it clicked for me. And I'm really disappointed by that because I figured that a straight adaptation of the book would have been the play for this movie.
Yeah.
The Schwarzenegger one was more fun. They told more story in like 90 minutes. That's a half hour less. I don't know.
I don't think they
It's a
told more story
mystery.
in the the Schwarzenegger one. They did not really build in who he was, other than he was in the military and refused to shoot on a crowd. That was it.
Right.
And then they made him the butcher of that, and they changed the AI. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and they worked some of that in here with the deep fake stuff at the end. So I mean, they on
throughout the whole
like,
thing, they did the deep fake thing.
I mean, like especially at the end though, where they're playing back the things that he said or didn't say. I mean, actually, yeah, you're right. They did that like
his day 2.
Yeah,
his day 2 video message.
Yeah, I laughed the entire time after the explosion in the basement. Yeah, you're right. But I mean, like, I feel like there was more world building to the Schwarzenegger one, even though it was completely off the cuff. Like, I like everything more about how in the Schwarzenegger one, the game show is sponsored by the government after the fall or after the dystopian. So the Justice Department has an entertainment division. They're like, we're going to get you an agent. I need Ben Richards, this and that. I like that. Like they play up the whole resistance early on, and then he kind of just stumbles his way into it. This here, it really is just dude needed money for sick daughter, goes on the run. And I get it. That's how the book worked, but it wasn't as much fun to watch.
I think it was fine to watch because that's more likely how a freedom fighter would start. It starts with your own family before you actually take on the government or try to be a big figure, unless you already had a role in it, which he didn't. Yeah. He was a worker. He was a blue collar person who didn't care about the government, didn't care about the network. All he wanted to do was take care of his family, and situations happened that put him in a situation where he became a leader.
I don't know. That's why I'm so confused why this didn't work for me as the guy that's always championing the whole do the source thing, keep adaptations tight. I don't know why I don't think that it works.
Because you're so used to the cartoony that the other one was. It was a walking comic book.
I mean, true.
It was a parody of itself. For this one, actually hits home because so much thing is relevant now. You start seeing yourself as Ben Richards instead of just watching something for entertainment. It hits close to home, where the news corporations are bought and paid for by the government.
True.
And big corporations bought and paid for the government. I mean, they had was it the government of 2020 sponsored by Pfizer.
Right, that's undeniably true. Yeah, I mean, there's probably elements of that. I'm still not. There's a disconnect for me in how this story plays out between the set pieces. I don't know if it's just that having read the book like a year ago, some of those developmental beats where he meets the two brothers, where he meets Amelia at the end, that because I've spent more time with them, those particular segments felt rushed in between a couple of decent set pieces, like the bit where he's hanging off the Y sign out the window and crashes back in. Like, there was some decent bits. Don't get me wrong. The escape from Alfie's house, also a pretty good standout scene. The plane bit at the end, pretty decent standout. But there's just something about the in-betweens that just didn't really resonate with me at all there. And I can't put my finger on specifically why, because like I said, outside of, I think Glenn Powell's pretty good, there was something about his character in this that didn't work. But everybody else seemed to click, though. His wife was pretty good. Brolin was great as Killian. I'll put that out there.
He plays such a good bad
smarmy
guy.
exec. Right, dude. Smarmy exec was good. Bobby T is the game show host. He's like stuck up diva, but in the end, like, he quits on him. He's like, yeah, nah, dog, you lost the plot. I'm out. Like, pushes the security guard's guns there. He's like, nah, we're leaving. He just fucking walks out. Like, that's pretty solid. The supporting cast along the way, like I said, the two brothers were good.
People who played the Hunters were pretty solid.
The Hunters were solid for kind of basic bad guys. They were a little different in the book. They definitely added the mask to McCone in this. That wasn't something like, I think they were trying to throw back homage to the gladiator type hunters from the first movie.
No, that was because he was the guy from season 1 who went 29 days. He couldn't be on TV.
Why?
Because they showed him killing him on the 29th day.
Oh, that's right. All right, never mind. Then it wasn't an homage. They baked that in. I already just discredited that part because I didn't care by the end. Because I already saw where the ending was going, having read the book, and the ending completely different, and that's a big negative for me. there's not supposed to be a happy ending here. There's supposed to be a long walk, the missed ending here to a degree, and you don't get that at all. All the agency was removed from Richards in the last scene in this movie, and I don't want to ruin it for this movie just came out, so I'm not going to get into the specifics of it, but I'll say that a key character decision was eliminated, and it kind of undercuts which should have been like the more grim tone the movie should have been going for.
They did the same thing in the first movie.
But see, the first movie is played campy AF from the jump. So when they let Ben Richards kiss the girl and walk off into the sunset after strapping Killian into the sled and fucking fire him into the game zone, I'm okay with that. And they played nothing else according to the book in that movie besides his name and the general format of the show. This movie literally followed the roadmap of scenes and then just fucking veered right off the highway for the ending. So it was kind of annoying there. I didn't like that. What did you think of his co-hosts or co-contestants? Like, did you find any value in them at all? Because I thought they were weird additions. They're not in the book.
Well, he ran with 3 people in the movie too.
In the Schwarzenegger movie,
yeah,
right. And I believe they were the same names because Laughlin was 100% one of the names from the. I think that was the white guy's name. I don't remember what Yaphet Kotto's name was in the first movie, but I think it was them too.
Yeah, it played perfect into the guy's underground videos trying to explain how it's all rigged. Yeah, just like you have the guy who died in the 48. Yeah. You have the angry one who just wants to take as many down as he can. Got barbecued by 2 kids.
2 kids. That was a little weird.
I think it played great. I think it is a little like touchy to some of the stuff we're going through now, and like who do you believe with your news source? Yeah. Because all of them lie to you.
Right. True, but I guess
I wouldn't say lie. I would say spin the truth to fit a certain narrative.
I'll say lie.
It's like how you pick and choose what verse of the Bible without reading the whole context to make it say what you want it to say.
That's them 80% of the time. The other 20% of the time they're lying. 100%, not the Bible. Them for sure. 100% lying, and I'm okay with pointing that out because it's the only way they'll learn. I don't know what else. I don't have anything else to say really about this other than that I was generally just disappointed.
The only part that really got to me where I was a little disappointed, and I was talking about this on the ride home, was I think the fun and games could have been a little bit more funnier in games because they really hyped up the whole thing with like record, report, and they did it once. Yeah, like there was only one or two. I thought there'd be more of him trying to slip through people, of him getting seen. Like they played that up in the trailer where it looked like he was getting caught up a lot more, and he kept trying to have to escape and evade. And
I wanted more spy games for sure. That would have been, like you said, a couple.
I think my only nitpick of it. I think this one is a very more story based and then action based, even though it has good action moments.
It did.
I think Glenn Powell is definitely nailing himself as the Nets it guy, like the Nets Brad Pitt. He has the look. He has the
dude's stacked. I'll give him that.
Yeah, and I've seen him in movies where he pulls stuff off. I love him in his new TV series, Chad Powers. I
don't know. He had a show. Cool. Yeah, look into
that. It's based off of Eli Manning's prank he did on the.
Oh yeah. You told me about that.
It's pretty funny. It's pretty funny.
Yeah. He's a talented cat. I'll give him that. Yeah. I was expecting this movie, I guess, to have something more to say than the touches on social media, surveillance, police state, a little bit more. Like I get that they want to keep things moving, but for 2 hours, they didn't dig enough into any of those kind of core concepts from the book. And the book gives that, plus like you were just talking about, like a lot more of the record and report options and the implications and consequences of those actions. You know what I mean? There's a lot more there. I like that they kept the visual flair of like the game show, like the dancing girls, the over the top master of ceremonies, Bobby T. Like that stuff was okay. Like I'm good for the tone of that kind of stuff. I like the media manipulation bits that we did get, especially when they're doing the deep fake stuff for him. Being like, oh, I laughed the entire time I cooked your dads and your sons and all that. Like some of that was good. But yeah, it feels like two puzzle pieces that don't quite fit for me. So I just gotta chalk it up to just a disappointment. I'm glad you liked it because it's always nice when somebody enjoys something. But yeah, I
Yeah,
think
I liked it. It was a fun movie to
we're
go
ship
to.
passing the night on this one.
It's what I would classify in the genre of popcorn movie.
For sure. For sure. I mean, this isn't a head scratcher. There's not a mystery you have to follow.
No,
There's not
pop the
no big
popcorn.
plot twists.
I love the my favorite getaway was the train getaway.
Solid jump.
Yeah.
Solid jump.
Yeah.
That was pretty solid. I'll give him that.
So I mean, there's good points. I would, you know what made me real sad about this movie, and it has nothing to actually do with the movie. And I just want to get this off my chest.
Here we go. He stepped in a puddle. Who knows?
Yeah, here we go. No, we got to the theater, and there's no one there. It's Saturday night, and there's no one there.
In the whole theater, in your room,
both.
Get out of here.
It was
the time of year, man.
It's like there was a family at the concession stand when I went back. I went and got my seat, then went back to the concession stand, showed up 20 minutes early. So, you know, that's just still ingrained in my head back in the day.
Don't need to do that anymore.
Minutes. No, that was assigned seating. But
I still want to be sitting so I don't have to fist fight anybody.
And I want to make sure I get through the popcorn line and stuff like that and be seated with enough time so I don't miss the trailers either. I really want to watch these trailers.
True.
And there was one on there I want to talk to you about after we're done rolling, but it was just like no one's there. And it's like these movies are shot to be seen on the big screen. And it's just sad, really. It's like a death of something. Like, and we are such a entertainment driven society. If you looked at like all the different entertainment things that we consume every day, between what we do here on YouTube to all your mobile games on your phone, to your mobile consoles, to your computers, to all the different streaming services with all the different movies or documentaries or whatever your poison is. And like, no one's going to the theater. And the theater,
options, dude.
Just think about how big it was when we were kids. Like, that's when
we didn't have half of the things you just mentioned, man. It's about options, convenience. It's about tastes and preferences.
And I do know that
form attention span. It's different.
Yeah, it's also like I guess it's cheaper than going to the movies, especially if you have a family bigger than like you and your wife, or get that unlimited plan like me and her have. But we both have to pay separate for it.
All right.
So it just, I don't know. It just really made me sad. And that's the one thing that really made me upset at this movie. Is just like,
dude, you gotta also
the theater.
Dude, you gotta remember too, man. You're in kind of one of the black spots about like the movie year, man. You're mid-November. The Halloween scary movie stuff is over. Like summer season's way over. It's gonna bump up again next month, dude. Avatar's coming through, dude, in a month. Theater's gonna be packed again.
I know, but I mean,
programming with kids' Christmas movies coming out.
And I don't think. Look at the box office, though. We never had that big. It's like it's so small. That's why overseas, you always have to wait for the overseas numbers to come in because they still go to the theater. And it's like it's no different over there. They're going through a hard time just like we are.
Right, but kids are a lot different in different parts of the world than the West.
They're really not.
They are, dude.
As someone who's been to 35 different countries, they're not much difference than us.
Yep, I'm telling you. I know you've been, but I'm telling you what I know about youngins and how kids are raised. Their attention spans and academics are largely different, and I think a lot of that plays into them being down for old entertainment formats. They can still read. They can still read at the level we read at. They still watch movies how their parents watch them, unlike our kids that have been dumbed down by TikTok and all that other shit. There are restrictions on those forms of media in different places of the world, like China. It is different.
Well, China is different, but I'm talking about like Europe is
that's half the international box office you were just talking about, boss.
No, it's not, because only 4 American movies get to go to China every year.
Yeah, but they still put up hundreds of millions on those four movies. They're the biggest four movies, dude.
But internationally, our movies do better internationally all over. And it's not just China, because only 4 of our movies get to go to China every year.
But they still account for a giant cut of money. That's all I'm saying. But you're right, dude. I mean, obviously there's a higher volume in other places, but I still think there's some differences there. But that's not what this review video was about. Cultural differences in movies. I'm sorry that you were sad. I hope you feel better next month when Avatar comes out. You'll see more people there.
No, I don't think I will.
Around Avatar, you will do. That's a kid.
Dude,
that's a
I will put a bill on it right now that there's the same amount of people there on a Saturday night.
Dude, I will 100% take that bet because Avatar is going to make about $1.8 billion total. That's going to happen. There's no reason to think that it won't. The other two already did. Economics be damned. That movie's going to make bank. Yeah. So let me get some closing thoughts on The Running Man. It sounds like you'd recommend as a popcorn movie to friends and family.
Yeah,
and
definitely. I
people
would
like
definitely
that.
recommend it. I would say go to the theater and watch it. Don't wait till it comes to streaming.
Give me a number.
It's
10.
there in the middle, about a 6.
Okay. So yeah, so you're being solid lately with the objective bell curve average popcorn movie, and I can appreciate that. I'm gonna stick with that. I can't give it the bell curve. I got to go 4 on this one. That's how much I disliked, especially the ending. So I'm gonna go 1 click behind medium. I'm gonna give it a 4. I was super disappointed by what I saw out of it. I'm not saying that it was bad. I'm not saying that it was produced poorly. I'm saying my unique take on the movie was just dissatisfied overall. I think the performances were okay. The action sequences were there. I expected more out of that one shot, though, that the running through the hallway thing. I remember being lit up by that in the trailer. And I was like, oh, snap. This is the thing that made me want to see it. And then it was just, they did that once for like two, and it wasn't even a long one shot. It was like 3 seconds. He gets into the elevator shaft, the grenade gets kicked back, and that was it. You know what I mean? I was hoping that was the style of the movie in a couple of places, and it kind of just let me down. So I'm going to go with the 4 on that. And with the, like I said, my little headline there, Edgar Wright, like this dude wrote Hot Fuzz and Shaun of the Dead. Where was the wit? Where was the banter? Like that kind of stuff was just largely missing. And maybe I wanted more of that.
And also a lot since The Shining, Stephen King has a lot more input, and like there's certain things in contrast with his movies.
Down. I'd have let Edgar Wright cook on this one because I think there was, especially if you've mentally put Hot Fuzz next to this movie, there was an opportunity to make The Running Man in the style of like Hot Fuzz with that comedic back and forth between Richards and anybody he was paired with.
But I don't think they really wanted to go with a comedic tone with this one.
But they kind of stumbled on that and did in a couple of places with a couple of one-liners. Like it never really punched emotionally. Yeah, but that's what Hot Fuzz does. They hit you with a couple of quotable one-liners.
No, that whole thing is a dedicated comedy.
But it's British dry humor, so you never really like chuckle in your sides to hurt them. And they didn't need to go that. There's levels, man. There's layers. You don't have to go all the way to Hot Fuzz, but you could have let them cook that because I'm giving it a 4 because I was bored and disappointed with what I got. I'm saying they could have turned that back up, but I think you're right. If King had a lot of input in this, maybe he's tired of his movies generally sucking for the last 25 years. So he's like, listen, we're going to do things my way now. And then you get things like The Long Walk, which we both gave like 8.5, 9.
Yeah, that was a good movie. That was a good movie.
Solid.
What was up with King and game shows when he was? Because I think these 2 books were written around the same time as well.
Maybe it was 70s. But that was culture. That was TV. That was the stuff people were watching, dude. Now we're watching reality shows. So we got to give him credit that he was wildly prophetic with about how people would be consuming media and what people would be interested in and what the world might look like. Dude, we're probably a year away from The Running Man, with how social media and economics works, we might be there. So I'll give him his props. How did you notice at the beginning too, when Ben Richards started to run, there was a corner store that he passed and it said Bachman's. Did you catch that up on the marquee?
No, I didn't.
Bachman Books, his pen name. Yeah. I was like, oh, I get that.
And you saw Arnold on the money, right?
No.
Yeah.
Arnold's
on the money. Yeah.
No, he was on the new box, on the new bill or whatever they called it.
Yeah. It was Arnold on there.
Here. Oh man, I'm pissed that I missed that.
When they were when you started watching TV at the beginning, they held it up. I saw Arnold on it. I was like, oh,
son of a bitch.
That was one of the first things I noticed.
I noticed Bachman and I was like, mental file. I gotta tell King about that later. He's gonna be impressed that I saw that. And now you're like, oh no, Arnold was on the buck. Damn it. Anyway. But all right, I think that's gonna do it for this review. I'm coming in on a low 4. King's giving it would you say 6?
Yeah, 6.
All right, so we're splitting the difference there. So pretty average movie, guys. I'd say wait for streaming. Kingsy wants you to support your local theaters. So get out there and check that out. That's going to do it for me.